hope you had a good Halloween. I have a whole basket of these, so just as soon as I finish this book talk, I'm going to have fun. And the book I want to talk about is Write Like This by Gallagher. I'm not sure I liked the title when I first got the book. It's an imperative sentence. It means write like this. You write like this. It reminds me of songs like Walk Like This, or Walk Like an Egyptian, or just someone saying, close the door, or how about this one, be quiet. So the title, actually, after you study and after you read and after you use this book by Gallagher, you will know how to model and use mentor texts. And we've had our lessons on that. And those are the two strategies that he talks about. Write like me, write like this. He dedicates his book to all his teachers who have taught him to write. Write like this. So he's really not being arrogant. This is a compilation of everything that Gallagher has learned about writing, and it is a wealth of material. He says in his video, which I will put on my blog for this assignment, that his kids think that he just comes home and he gets on the computer and he writes books like this. But he goes on to tell us that there are many, many different ways to learn how to write. Some I agree with, some I have used in my career of teaching. Didn't know they were his ideas, but nevertheless, I use them anyway. So I want to tell you about the book a little bit. The book is divided into 9 chapters. And there's his dedication. And here are the 9 chapters. Each chapter is about a particular step in the process of writing. And he writes in narrative form. That means he uses the pronoun I. It's very approachable when you have someone telling a story. It makes you want to read more. So I do like the style of his writing. It's very easy to comprehend. He talks about real world writing. In modeling, he says he's always like a coach, showing someone how to twirl a ball or throw a ball or dribble a ball. Watch me and learn. And then the mentor text section, he talks about, we've just learned mentor texts, that they're favorite books. In the video that we watched, the children had books that they were familiar with. In one video, a student was reciting as the teacher was reciting. She had read it so much that she knew the book. So he uses those 2 guides. And he says that if you have some mentor texts, you will become forever friends. And we know about books being friends. We all have our favorite books. Maybe we don't call them mentor texts. I probably will now. Black Beauty was my mentor text, and Little Women. I had 5 older sisters, so Little Women, when I read that book, I thought, I want to write like Louisa May Alcott. So after the first chapters, you learn that he is writing a story and he is using the first person pronoun, as I said. And what he does is he gives examples of strategies to use. He shows you strategies. And then he will give you a page where for that strategy, he used a prompt and about 5 or 6 student examples. I love that. I love reading what other students have written. So it's divided that way all through the book, every chapter until you get to chapter 9. And it's kind of a humorous conclusion about how the Wizard of Oz could not teach writing. And that's where I disagree. There's a part in there that I disagree with Mr. Gallagher. So you've got the writing samples, and throughout the book, you have a ton of prompts. For example, this page is my history. And my history of what? Just recently, I responded to a peer mini lesson that says my history of writing. So this includes my history of drawing, my history of computer, my history with singing. And so throughout the book, he gives you examples of student prompts that you can use. In the last chapter, as I said, he says there is no such thing as a 5-paragraph essay. That just kind of negated all my years of teaching the 8th grade writers how to use a 5-paragraph essay with the TP3RC formula: topic, 3 paragraphs, details, and a conclusion. He uses this chart: beginning, middle, and end. And he says that will instruct the students in the same manner. That's the only thing in the book that I really can't quite comprehend that it would be the way to go if you want to teach students how to write, especially when there was the 8th grade writing test. I think that my form might have been a little bit better. I don't know. They all passed. I only had 1 or 2 need to take that course again, but eventually they all passed. So I'm going to stick with that. I might just try. If I were teaching younger students, and this is a secondary level text, I would probably use beginning, middle, and end and see how it works. So this has been my history with this book this semester. I'm very glad I was introduced to it. It will become a dog-eared book. It pretty much has already. That means it's one that I go to not just for this class, but for another class I'm taking, and probably for the last 2 classes that I'll be taking. So it's going to be a mentor text for me. I hope it will be you. If you have the elementary book, I look forward to seeing what you have on the blogger for that, because secondary level teachers certainly can continue with some of the processes used with elementary school teachers. And I have such admiration for those of you that I've had class with, and you've relayed stories about what you do in your 4th, 3rd, kindergarten, whatever classroom. So on my blog, you will find, I hope, this YouTube channel. You just have to type in search and put Carol Brannock, Brannock. But I'm also going to encourage you to look at a YouTube that Kelly Gallagher, who wrote our book, he has a YouTube, and he takes each one of the 9 sections and he goes over it in depth, and he talks about personally what each chapter means to him. So those directions or websites will be on my blog, and I certainly hope you reach this one. Remember, you can type my name in the search, Carol Brannock, and you will find this. I have some other YouTube videos where I have done book talks for other classes and for my grandchildren. I did one on penguins. You might enjoy that if you've got a small child. Well, maybe not so small, but my grandchildren are older now, so I think about them as small children when I did that one. So we don't always need to agree with the method, I don't think. But I think we do need to have a certain feeling about the core beliefs about teaching writing to students. So I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed using Kelly Gallagher's book. I look forward to seeing your videos as well. And I hope to see you soon.